Today on the Tech Bytes podcast, SharkFest. No, it's not a week of shark-themed television. It's the annual conference where Wireshark users and trainers gather to learn, share, and improve their packet and protocol analysis skills. Gerald Combs of the Wireshark Foundation is here to tell us about SharkFest and make the case for why this live event needs to be on your calendar. Gerald, we'll go back to packet pushers and just briefly, what is SharkFest? Why should network engineers want to go?
SharkFest is a conference dedicated to Wireshark and everything Wireshark, and everything around Wireshark, including protocol analysis and the tools that not only Wireshark itself is a tool, but the other tools and products that make up sort of that protocol analysis ecosystem.
What kinds of other tools then would I be getting exposed to at SharkFest?
People often talk about stuff that they're developing themselves, other open source projects like TCP dump or Kismet, or there's always some new tool that somebody's developing that they're talking about. So that's a great way to learn about that sort of thing.
And where is it? When does it take place?
The next SharkFest is going to be in Richmond, Virginia in June from the 14th through the 19th. Yeah.
All right, June 14th and 19th in Richmond, Virginia.
Is this just like education, like I go for classes, or is there more to this?
We try to keep it as informative and engaging as possible. There are a couple of days of pre-conference classes. So if you're kind of new to the field, you can get in, kind of the weekend and the Monday before and kind of build your foundational knowledge. And so, if you do that, you can get the most out of the rest of the conference, which is, focused on, topics that range from, beginning to intermediate to advanced, and all sorts of different topics, like just not only protocol analysis itself and using Wireshark, but decrypting SSL and Quick and things like that, and developing Wireshark and just all whatever different topics people happen to talk about at this particular.
There was an article we had on packet pushers for a while that was really popular, dealing with decrypting in doing packet decryption for purposes of packet analysis. So yeah, I imagine topics like that would do really well. So is there like a keynote, that kind of a vibe?
Yeah, this year is one of our special years. We managed to get Vint Cerf to agree to give a keynote for us. And there's this phrase, "Don't meet your heroes." Vint is the exception to that phrase. You should absolutely meet this hero. The few times that I've been fortunate enough to interact with him, he's just been so informative and gracious, and just he's a great guy to be around. And if you're into networking at all, you realize that Vint has had an outsized impact on the history of networking and just human development in general. He's helped everybody to connect over the past however many years with the internet. And so this is a great chance to meet someone of that stature.
So I've got some gray in my beard, so I'm familiar with Vint. But if for people who aren't, why I know his sort of a nickname is the father of the internet. What earned him those accolades?
He was the one of the people who developed TCP, the foundational, packet switch networking. Back when he was doing his original research, the big question was, okay, do we do circuit switched or packet switched? And telephone companies and telephone networks were based around circuit switching and just making this direct connection between two endpoints. And he came up with the notion that, well, if we break everything up into little chunks, it works a lot better, and you can fit a lot more stuff on the wire, and do things a lot more effectively. And that's where modern networking kind of started.
Yeah, for sure. Without TCP, we'd be in a different place. It is a great opportunity then to meet somebody who was sort of there at the beginning.
So the event feels like more like a traditional conference then. So SharkFest is like, we're going to have some keynote talks, we're going to have some workshops, or we're going to have like different tracks I can pick.
Yeah, we have two main tracks this time around. Sometimes we have two, sometimes we have three, but the tracks, I don't think this year, are kind of split into overall topics. It's too bad Sherry, our conference organizer, couldn't be here, because she's much more involved with this on a day-to-day level. But no, we do have a wide variety of talks to choose from, which is the main point I'm trying to get to here. Whatever you're trying to focus on in your work, you can get something out of this conference.
Do I need to be a Wireshark expert to show up at this event and get something out of it?
Absolutely not, and maybe it's better if you aren't. I say that because the title is SharkFest, the Wireshark Developer and User Conference. And it was the person who originally organized this, Janice Pampanato. She was a business development manager back at a company I used to work for, and she kind of pointed out that, hey, you have this community, you need to bring everybody together. And the original thought was, well, let's bring the development team together and they can kind of develop Wireshark more effectively. But we realized that we want to bring in other people too, and that's what we did. And she made it very inviting, very familial, and we have tried to maintain that tone over the years and just make it this inviting place where people can come and learn. And when I talk about, when I mentioned earlier, maybe it's a good thing if you don't know about Wireshark and you come, it's because that's valuable to the development team. If you are not an expert in the tool and maybe you have a stumbling block, we need to see that in front of us, and that we can make the tool better and easier to use and extend its power that way.
Easier to use, I think that's a key for any software developer. I don't mean Wireshark specifically necessarily. I've been using it for a long time and find it pretty intuitive. But when you build something, you don't see what someone who's never seen it before might be experiencing, and you need that insight.
Oh, you absolutely do. There have been several times that I've been at SharkFest and looked over at somebody, trying to use Wireshark and see them struggling with something. I'm thinking, we can fix that pretty easily. We should do that. And it has in a couple of cases helped us to kind of shape the interface and then refine it so that it is the workflow is a bit more smooth.
So are there actually opportunities for people who use Wireshark to get in touch with or interact with the actual developers?
Yes, we have a room set aside called the Developer Den where the developers typically hang out, and we invite people to stop by and talk to the developer. It's actually a great thing to see.
That's pretty cool. I don't know how often you would get a chance like that to actually talk to somebody building the software.
So Vint Cerf's going to be there. He's giving the keynote. Tell us about other workshops or presentations that stand out to you, Gerald.
Well, okay, there's a session in particular that is really cool. We have it each year called the Packet Doctors, and it's special in that we don't record it. What happens is we have some expert protocol analysts up on the stage, and we dress them up as doctors because they are the Packet Doctors. And people bring in packet captures, with maybe they have solved the problem, maybe they haven't solved the problem, but they bring in interesting packet captures, and the packet doctors pull up these packet captures and talk their way through analyzing this capture. So you get an insight into their methodologies and workflows and things like that. And it's really enlightening, and it's always entertaining, and it's a great way to see how experts use this in action.
And you, through watching them work through this problem, might get some insights on how for ways you could approach a protocol analysis or a packet capture.
Yeah.
Cool. Are there any kinds of competitions? Are there things to do in the evenings? What else goes on there?
We try to keep the audience engaged and excited about protocol analysis. I mean, we try to give as much bang for the buck as you can. I mean, the people are coming here and spending their time here and paying us to be here, and so we want to make it worthwhile. But in the evening, we have like a treasure hunt, which gets people involved with our sponsors. But another thing we do is on one night we'll have some sort of competition. Like I think in Europe last time we had a quiz show with buzzers and buttons and stuff. This time it looks like we're going to have an escape group challenge, and those are always fun and exciting. One of the years, the Wireshark core developers were on an escape group team, and everybody assumed that we were going to win. And what actually happened was all the developers, as a general rule, use the latest, greatest version of Wireshark out of our source code repository. And at that point, we had a bug in Wireshark that prevented us from doing this challenge, and we lost. So that was entertaining.
Where's
too.
Gerald?
So, yeah,
I haven't seen him in a week. I think he's still stuck in the escape room.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So actually, yeah, if you want to see us stumble and fail and just get that sort of Schadenfreude, show up here as well. That's maybe an attraction.
So in your mind then, who is an ideal attendee? Who should think about prioritizing this event given, travel restrictions, budget restrictions, and so on?
If your job involves keeping a network fast, reliable, or secure, you should show up. It's kind of that simple. This is an opportunity if you are large, whether you're just this lone person taking care of a network, and there are a lot of people out there that are like this, or you're on a small team or even a large team. This is a great opportunity to come and mingle with people who have these same responsibilities and worries and concerns that you do, and learn how to more effectively manage and secure your network.
So this is the U.S. event. You mentioned Europe. Do you also do one in Europe?
Yeah, typically we have events both in the US and Europe. In the US, we'll have it in late spring, early summer, like around May or June. And in the fall, we'll have an event in Europe. This year's event in Europe is in Warsaw, and that's going to be really cool. I haven't been there before, so I'm excited about that.
And my understanding is for this U.S. event in June, the call for papers is closed. What about November if I've got a hankering to present?
If you want to present, yeah, just submit a paper. And we do have a CFP open for SharkFest Europe.
One other thing that I wanted to bring up is that the Wireshark Foundation just released a new tool called StrataShark, and essentially that just as Wireshark is for packets, StrataShark is for system calls. You can diagnose and troubleshoot application performance and security issues on like Windows and Linux machines. Is there going to be anything about StrataShark at SharkFest?
Yeah, I will talk about it briefly in my sort of introductory talk, but we do have a couple of sessions I know about StrataShark. And as you said, StrataShark is a sibling application to Wireshark that lets you analyze system calls and log messages. And so it's what I do in my day job right now, and it's kind of what I'm excited about. But as I said, we're going to have at least a couple of sessions about it. And if you want to learn more about it, I will be there. The other Wireshark developers will be there, and we'll be happy to answer any questions about it.
And just for folks who might be curious about StrataShark, Jennifer Manella and I did a podcast episode on Packet Protector with you, Gerald, about StrataShark. We'll get into a little more detail if folks want to check that out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. So where should listeners go to get more details if they're interested in SharkFest and want to check it out?
You can go to sharkfest.wireshark.org, and we all have banners on the regular Wireshark website as well, and you can look at the agenda and sign up, and if you have any questions, I believe there's a contact email as well on the website.
Well, Gerald, thanks for being here. Thanks for letting us know about SharkFest coming up this June. Go to sharkfest.wireshark.org if you're interested. Check it out. Gerald, are you online if folks want to reach out to you that way? Or is there any place they can find you?
Sure. I'm on Mastodon. I'm on Blue Sky. Wireshark has a Discord server you can reach me on. And my email address is in Wireshark's about box. So that was maybe a dumb thing to do, but it's there. So
right. Well, thank you, Gerald, for joining us again. And thanks to you, the listener. You can find this and many more fine, free technical podcasts, along with our community blog and our community Slack channel at packetpushers.net. You can follow me on Blue Sky. You can follow the rest of us on LinkedIn. You can hear us on Spotify. And if you would leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts, last but not least, remember that too much networking would never be enough.